welcome back to the Zero to Here podcast. I'm your host, Danny Dumas. Producer Carl, what up?
How's it going?
Doing well, man. How about yourself?
Pretty good.
Carl, today's an exciting day for me. I get to talk about fitness. Fitness, for me, in the last couple of years has become a huge part of my life, and super pumped to just kind of go through the events, I guess, that kind of got me back into it. I grew up in a very athletic family, and I grew up playing at least 3 sports a year. Always it was in very good shape growing up. Through high school, I was, one of the better basketball players in the province, and trained 3, 4, 5 hours daily. So I was always in really good shape. Played a couple of years of university basketball as well. So obviously stayed in really good shape that way. But I got into real estate when I was 25, 2014. And again, talking about my obsessive personality, I really went all in on real estate, and that I kind of let my health suffer. As I mentioned before, I wasn't eating very well. I rarely exercised at that point in my career. I was just so focused on getting established in the career, and obviously I sacrificed other things to move forward.
I remember that alumni tournament.
Oh my God. That was brutal, wasn't it? I was like 2 lengths up and down the court, and I was asking for a sub. And if any of you don't know me out there, I think I've asked for a sub maybe 3 times in my entire life. It doesn't happen very often. I rarely want to come off. So those first 2 years, I was just all in on growing the business, on getting established, on building a database. And I mean, if I were to look back, I'd say I probably went for a run or worked out once a month, once every 2 months. And it's tough to look back and say like when it changed, but you kind of just get in this groove and you don't realize that it's happening, but it happens. And so January 2017 was a big turnaround for me. I was going through some stuff personally, which kind of got me off the couch and to, kind of, for lack of a better term, but to actually go and do something about it. And so I just decided at that point, January 2017, that I was going to get back into shape. And at that point, I weighed 210 pounds. I felt like I was getting fat. I felt like shit. I woke up in the morning and I was already tired. I was uncomfortable in clothing. Like it was a experience that I've never really gone through before. So that first month, man, was so hard. I told myself I was going to do something every day. And in that January, getting out of bed in the morning, going for a run, like the runs would be 10 minutes. It would be, I'd barely be on the treadmill. I'd be sweating. My lungs would be burning. And it was like a quick, okay, I can't do this anymore. And it was done. But in my head, I thought, okay, at least I'm doing something. At least I'm making progress. And hopefully in a couple months from now, it's going to be a lot better than it is. It's shocking going from a pretty high level athlete playing university sports to a couple years later, barely being able to be on a treadmill for 10 minutes. So it was a big eye opener, but I just kind of stuck with it. And for whatever reason, again, going through some stuff personally, I got this different level of comfort out of exercise than I ever had before. I was never really a runner beforehand, but this, just being outside, pushing my body just kind of made me forget about all the other shit that was going on. And I think I kind of fell in love with that side of it rather than the actual exercise part of it. But those first few months were just an absolute grind. Mentally, you got to be pretty strong to get through those tough feelings. Fast forwarding to this summer, I had lost at least 20 pounds. So I'm back down to like 190, 185. But this summer, again, for whatever reason, some personal stuff that was going on, I decided that I really wanted to get into hiking. And I found that exact same kind of mental release that I found in running a year and a half beforehand. And I don't know why. I guess it was therapeutic to just be out in nature, not worrying about other stuff, pushing your body, sweating, getting out in the sunshine, and just being alone. And that was, like I said, it was really therapeutic for me. The analogy that I like to use, I fell in love with the Seymour hike for a few reasons. One, it's in the sun the whole way. Two, it's a lot of vertical, so it's a good fitness challenge. And three, you have cell reception the whole way. So I could take off, seriously. I could take off in the middle of the day at like 11 a.m. Head up there. I got down to 36 minutes on the way up, which is it's 4.2K, 700-meter climb. But let's say 40 minutes up. I'd bring a lunch, I'd bring my phone, and I would sit at the top and just work for an hour. And it's so cool just because you're sitting up there and you're looking down at the city of Vancouver and you're thinking, holy shit, do I feel small? Like it really puts things in perspective. And for me, going through a bit of a tough time personally, it allowed me to kind of take a step back and understand that, sure, to me, this issue that I'm going through seems big, but in the big scope of Greater Vancouver, in the big scope of the world, it's such a small little thing. And I think just sitting at the top of mountains, working for an hour every day, kind of gave me a little bit of mental release from that stuff that I was going through. I started using social media a lot. Let's say early 2018, like aggressively a lot. And so I wanted to kind of document all my hiking and fitness as I was getting back into shape as well. And it was very humbling to see. I wasn't expecting this at all, but it was very humbling to see how many people would comment on my hike videos and fitness videos. Just, I use this little quote that I say, do something that makes you sweat every day. For whatever reason, that stuck in my head. I saw that on a Lululemon bag. It was like one of their mantras or something like that 3 years ago. And for some reason, that kind of stuck in my head. But do something that makes you sweat every day. And it was pretty cool to see how many people would comment or DM me saying, like, thanks so much for continuing to post this stuff. It's motivated me to get out of, get back in the gym or whatever it may be. And it's cool that going from January 2017, where I could barely run for 10 minutes, it's very cool to now be in a position where, like, I get anxious if I haven't worked out in a day. And I'm probably 6 days a week. But it's for me, it's more of the mental release for an hour and a half every day than the actual fitness. But I like that it gives me more energy. I like that I can wake up in the morning at 6:30, 7 o'clock, go for a run, work out for half an hour, and just feel super energized for the workday. One other cool story I want to share with you actually happened yesterday. It was like the first rainy day in Vancouver in a while, and I went for a run, probably 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning. Come back into my building, I'm soaking wet, and my building manager stops me. The like caretaker building manager guy, he stops me and he's like, man, I just want to thank you. I'm like, what are you talking? Okay, sure. For what? And he said, he's like, I've been watching you for the last 3 months. It's so inspiring how you work out and run every single day. He's like, I've just been watching you do it. And this guy's maybe in his late 40s. And he's like, I haven't worked out in like 3 or 4 years, but literally just watching you has motivated me to get back in the gym. In the last 3 days, I've gone for runs. And he's like, so I just want to thank you for helping me get back into shape. And something like that is pretty cool. I never really got into fitness or started using social media for those reasons to help inspire people, but it's pretty humbling to hear that just my actions and my mindset can have a positive effect on other people. And that's part of the reason for this podcast, is just that I can share all these experiences in the hopes that maybe one or two of you get a little bit of inspiration from it, and maybe you can be like a building manager and just watch me for 3 months, but I don't know. Anyway.
Are there any big hikes that you want to maybe do in the next couple of years?
I did a few really cool ones actually this year. I did, Diaz Vistas, which is around Bunsen Lake in Port Moody, is pretty cool. It's like a 4-hour-ish one. But there's no cell reception. So that one you need to do at a slow time of the year. Slow time of the year. It's hard to be turned off for 4 hours. I went up to Lake Louise in Banff this summer, which was super cool. So beautiful. A couple really cool hikes up there. Did Joffrey Lakes, which is
Yeah,
which
it's a
is pretty
popular
cool.
one.
Oh, it's super popular. It's annoying because there's so many people up there, but the
Just doing
scenery
it
is
for the ground, you know?
100%. Yeah, but the scenery is spectacular. Like the color of the water, it's so cool. No, I don't know. Jamie, my business partner, is a big hiker, and he's got a long list of stuff that he does locally.
Has he done the Lions yet?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
multiple times.
Is that how hard is that? Has he ever talked about it?
It's like 3 hikes in one.
Is
So
it?
I think he said it was about 30K.
So oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
intense.
But for him, that would probably be like 6 to 7 hours.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. I did, what's that lake called? Up in Squamish, like close to Garibaldi. Twin Lakes.
Oh yeah.
That one was like 22K round trip, but it was fairly flat. But the scenery was amazing. Such cool photos up there that you get. But yeah, that was a pretty good one. Did that? I think we did that in 5 hours.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you always time yourself and look up?
I do when I'm by myself. So Seymour was the one that I got into a lot, and I think I did it 21 days in a row in August. Every day I did it, and
Would you do a different peak, or would you just do the
no
same
exact same one. I really liked the
that's
hike
impressive.
because of the time. Like it wasn't super long, but it was pretty steep, and
You said the sun and the cell reception.
it was sunny, so I could just like go shirtless,
right.
try to work on my tan because I'm pasty.
Is it pretty busy?
No, and that's the other thing. Well, during the week, so I'd go at like 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, and yeah, there's barely. I'd probably see 4 people on it, but I fell in love with that one for the few reasons I mentioned. But yeah, I would time myself every day, try to beat the time I set beforehand. Got down from like, I think the first time I did it with my sister maybe, and we were like 55 minutes maybe.
Oh yeah.
And then the next day I'm like, screw Marty, I'm gonna crush her. And I did it in 39 minutes, and then basically for the rest of the summer, I just like kept trying to beat 39, and I got down to 36:42.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that now though.
No.
Anyways, as always, guys, I would love to hear your feedback. Hit me up on Instagram, denny.duma, or check the podcast notes for my email. Later.